A single father walks his daughter to school in the rain every day. They have holes in their shoes and share broken umbrellas. He doesn't know her teacher has $50 million and is secretly planning to change their lives forever. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. Tom Johnson walked slowly through the morning rain, holding his 8-year-old daughter's hand tightly. They shared one old umbrella that had holes in it, so they both got wet anyway. Tom's shoes had holes too, and he could feel the cold water seeping through to his socks. "Are we late, Daddy?" asked Lucy, his daughter. She looked up at him with big brown eyes that reminded him so much of her mother. "No, sweetheart. We have plenty of time," Tom said with a smile, even though they were actually running late. His old car had broken down again and he couldn't afford to fix it. Now they had to walk 40 minutes to get to Lucy's school every morning. Tom worked 3 jobs just to pay for their tiny apartment and food. He cleaned offices at night, delivered newspapers in the early morning, and worked at a grocery store during the day. Even with all that work, there was never enough money. Some nights, Tom went to bed hungry so Lucy could have a proper dinner. Lucy never complained. She was a bright, happy child who did well in school despite their struggles. Her teacher, Miss Sarah Bennett, always said Lucy was one of the smartest students she had ever taught. What Tom didn't know was that Miss Sarah Bennett had a very big secret. Sarah Bennett looked like any other elementary school teacher. She wore simple clothes, drove an old car, and lived in a small apartment near the school. She had been teaching for 15 years and truly loved her job. All the children and parents thought she was just a regular teacher who cared deeply about her students. But Sarah was actually worth $50 million. Her grandfather had been a famous inventor who created several important patents. When he died, he left everything to Sarah. She could have lived in a mansion, traveled the world, or bought anything she wanted. Instead, she chose to keep teaching because she believed education was the most important gift she could give to children. Sarah kept her wealth completely secret. She didn't want people to treat her differently or ask her for money. She just wanted to be seen as a good teacher who cared about her students. Over the months, Sarah had noticed that Lucy often came to school tired and hungry. The little girl wore the same few dresses every week, and her shoes were too small for her growing feet. Lucy never brought lunch money, and she always ate the free lunch provided by the school. Sarah also noticed that Tom looked exhausted every morning when he dropped Lucy off. His clothes were old and worn, and he always seemed worried about something. But despite their obvious struggles, both father and daughter were always kind and polite to everyone. One rainy Tuesday morning, Tom and Lucy arrived at school completely soaked. Lucy was shivering and her lips were turning blue from the cold. "Oh my goodness, Lucy, you're freezing," Sarah said, quickly wrapping her own sweater around the little girl. "Tom, come inside for a minute. Let me get Lucy some dry clothes from the lost and found." Tom hesitated. "I don't want to be any trouble, Miss Bennett. I need to get to work." "It's no trouble at all," Sarah insisted. "Lucy can't sit in class all day in wet clothes. She'll get sick." While Sarah helped Lucy change into dry clothes, she noticed that the little girl's old dress had several holes and patches. Lucy's shoes were held together with tape, and her socks had holes in them too. "Miss Bennett," Lucy whispered, "do you think my daddy is sad because of me?" Sarah's heart broke. "Oh, sweetheart, why would you think that? He works all the time and he looks so tired. Maybe if I wasn't here, he could have more money and be happier." Sarah knelt down and took Lucy's small hands in hers. "Lucy, listen to me very carefully. Your daddy loves you more than anything in the whole world. You are the best thing that ever happened to him. He works hard because he wants to take care of you, not because you're a problem." Lucy smiled a little. "Really? Really? I can see how much he loves you every morning when he brings you to school. Even when it's raining and he's tired, he still walks you here safely." That afternoon, Sarah made a decision. She was going to help Tom and Lucy, but she had to be very careful about how she did it. Tom was a proud man who wouldn't accept charity from a teacher. Sarah started small. The next day, she accidentally made too much lunch and offered to share it with Lucy. She began bringing extra fruit, sandwiches, and snacks to school. "I always pack too much food," Sarah would say. "It would be a shame to waste it." Lucy was happy to share Miss Bennett's delicious lunches, and she started to have more energy during class. Sarah also started a reading rewards program, where students could earn points for reading books at home. The prizes were things like new clothes, shoes, and school supplies that Sarah bought with her own money. Lucy was one of the best readers in class, so she won many new outfits and a beautiful pair of shoes. "You earned these fair and square," Sarah told Lucy when she gave her the prizes. "You're such a good reader." But Sarah wanted to do more. She noticed that Tom looked thinner every week and she could see the stress in his tired eyes. One Friday afternoon, Tom came to pick up Lucy from school. It was raining again, and they had to wait under a small overhang because their umbrella had finally broken completely. "Mr. Johnson," Sarah said, walking over to them, "I have something I'd like to discuss with you. Do you have a few minutes?" Tom looked nervous. "Is Lucy in trouble?" "Not at all. Lucy is my best student. I actually wanted to talk to you about a job opportunity." Tom's eyes lit up with hope. "A job?" "Yes. The school district is looking for someone to help with maintenance and security in the evenings. It pays well and it would be here at the school so Lucy could stay late and do her homework while you work. Would you be interested?" What Tom didn't know was that Sarah had created this job herself. She had spoken to the principal and offered to pay the salary out of her own pocket. She told the principal it was from an anonymous donor who wanted to help the school. "Are you serious?" Tom asked, hardly believing it. "Very serious. The job pays $25 an hour, and it's Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 p.m. You would help clean the classrooms, check that all doors and windows are locked, and make sure the building is secure." Tom felt tears in his eyes. This job would change everything for him and Lucy. He could quit one of his other jobs and actually spend time with his daughter in the evenings. "When can I start?" Tom asked. "Monday if you want." That weekend was the happiest Tom and Lucy had been in a long time. Tom took Lucy to the park and they played together for hours. He hadn't been able to spend this much time with her in months. "Daddy, are you feeling better now?" Lucy asked as they sat on a bench sharing an ice cream cone. "Much better, sweetheart. Things are going to be easier for us now." "I like Miss Bennett," Lucy said. "She's always so nice to us." Tom nodded. "She certainly is. We're very lucky to have her as your teacher." On Monday evening, Tom started his new job at the school. Sarah stayed late too, helping Lucy with her homework while Tom worked. "You don't have to stay, Miss Bennett," Tom said. "I can watch Lucy while I work." "I don't mind at all," Sarah replied. "I have papers to grade anyway and Lucy is great company." As the weeks went by, Tom's life improved dramatically. With the extra money from his evening job, he was able to buy better food for Lucy and himself. He could afford to fix his car so they didn't have to walk to school in the rain anymore. For the first time in years, Tom wasn't constantly worried about money. Lucy was happier too. She got to spend time with her favorite teacher every evening, and her daddy wasn't as tired and stressed as he used to be. But Sarah wasn't done helping them yet. One day, she overheard Tom talking to another parent about how he wished he could afford to take Lucy on a real vacation. They had never been anywhere together except the local park. "I want to show her the ocean," Tom said sadly. "She's never seen the beach. But even a weekend trip costs more money than I can spare." That night, Sarah had an idea. She created another contest at school. She announced that one lucky family would win a week-long vacation to a beach resort in Florida. All students had to do was write an essay about their dreams. Of course, Lucy's essay was chosen as the winner. She had written about wanting to build sandcastles with her daddy and see dolphins in the ocean. "We want a vacation," Lucy shouted when she ran out of school that Friday. "Miss Bennett picked my essay." Tom couldn't believe it. A free vacation to Florida, including airplane tickets, hotel, and meals. Seemed too good to be true. "Are you sure about this?" Tom asked Sarah privately. "Absolutely," Sarah smiled. "Lucy's essay was beautiful. She deserves this trip." Tom and Lucy had the most wonderful week of their lives in Florida. They built sandcastles, swam in the ocean, and saw dolphins just like Lucy had dreamed. Tom took hundreds of pictures of Lucy laughing and playing on the beach. When they returned, Tom seemed like a completely different person. He was relaxed and happy, and Lucy was glowing with joy. But their happiness was about to be tested. A few weeks after their vacation, Tom's landlord told him that the rent on their apartment was going up by $300 a month. Even with his new job, Tom couldn't afford the increase. "We're going to have to move, Lucy," Tom told his daughter sadly. "Maybe to a different neighborhood with a different school." Lucy started crying. "But I don't want to leave Miss Bennett. She's the best teacher ever." Tom felt terrible. Just when things were getting better, they had another crisis. Sarah overheard Lucy crying about having to move and change schools. That evening she made the biggest decision of all. "Tom, can I talk to you?" Sarah asked after Lucy had gone to wash her hands. "Of course." Sarah took a deep breath. It was time to tell him the truth. "I have something very important to tell you, and I hope you won't be angry with me." Tom looked worried. "What is it?" "The job at the school, the vacation, all the extra food and clothes for Lucy. It wasn't from contests or the school district. It was from me. Tom looked confused. I don't understand. How could a teacher afford all that? Sarah smiled nervously. Because I'm not just a teacher. I inherited a lot of money from my grandfather, but I chose to keep teaching because I love it. I've been using my money to help you and Lucy because you're good people who deserve better. Tom stared at her in shock. You're rich? Very rich. And I want to help you with your rent problem too. I own several apartment buildings in this neighborhood. I'd like to offer you a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment for the same rent you're paying now. Tom sat down heavily in a chair. Why would you do all this for us? Because, Sarah said softly, I see how hard you work and how much you love Lucy. You remind me of my own father who worked 3 jobs to support me after my mother died. And Lucy, she's like the daughter I never had. Tom had tears in his eyes. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Just let me help you. I have more money than I could ever spend, and helping your family makes me happier than anything I could buy for myself. But why keep it a secret? Why pretend to be just a regular teacher? Sarah smiled. Because I am just a regular teacher. Money doesn't change who I am inside. I still want to wake up every morning and help children learn and grow. That's what makes my life meaningful. Tom stood up and hugged Sarah. Thank you, he whispered. You've given us our lives back. You're welcome. But I have one condition. Anything. You can never tell anyone about my money. I want to keep helping other families, but I can only do that if people don't know who I really am. Tom promised to keep her secret. The next month, Tom and Lucy moved into a beautiful apartment that Sarah owned. It had big windows, a nice kitchen, and a yard where Lucy could play. For the first time in her life, Lucy had her own bedroom with new furniture and toys. But the best part was that they were still in the same school district, so Lucy could stay with Miss Bennett. As the school year went on, Sarah continued to secretly help other struggling families. She created more contests and programs that provided food, clothes, and opportunities to children who needed them. Tom eventually quit his night cleaning job and his newspaper delivery route. With just his day job at the grocery store and his evening job at the school, he had enough money to live comfortably and spend quality time with Lucy. One day, Lucy asked her father a question that made him think. Daddy, why is Miss Bennett so different from other people? What do you mean, sweetheart? She's always helping everyone, but she never wants anything back. And she's always happy, even though she works really hard. Tom smiled. Some people are just special, Lucy. They have big hearts and want to make the world better for others. I want to be like Miss Bennett when I grow up, Lucy said. I think that's a wonderful goal, Tom replied. Years passed and Lucy continued to excel in school. When she graduated from elementary school, she gave a speech at the graduation ceremony. I want to thank all my teachers, Lucy said to the crowd, but especially Miss Bennett, who taught me that the most important thing in life is to be kind to others and help people when you can. Sarah wiped away tears as she watched Lucy speak. This little girl, who had once been hungry and cold, was now confident and full of dreams for the future. After the ceremony, Tom approached Sarah. I have something to tell you, he said. I've been saving money from my job at the school and I want to give it back to you. Sarah looked confused. Give what back? The money you spent on us. The vacation, the clothes, the apartment deposit. I've calculated it all and I want to pay you back. Sarah shook her head firmly. Absolutely not. That money was a gift, not a loan. But it was so much money. Tom, listen to me. The money I spent on your family is nothing compared to what you've given me. What do you mean? You gave me the chance to make a real difference in someone's life. You let me be part of Lucy's childhood and watch her grow into an amazing young lady. You can't put a price on that kind of joy. Tom hugged his daughter's teacher, the woman who had saved their lives. What are you going to do now that Lucy is going to middle school? Tom asked. The same thing I've always done, Sarah smiled. Teach and help families who need it. And we'll keep your secret forever, Tom promised. I know you will. As they walked home from the graduation ceremony, Lucy skipped happily between her father and Miss Bennett. Miss Bennett, Lucy said, will you come visit us sometimes? Of course, sweetheart. We're friends now, remember? Lucy grinned. Best friends. That evening, as Sarah sat in her small apartment grading papers from her new class of students, she thought about Tom and Lucy. Their story had reminded her why she chose to live simply and use her wealth to help others instead of buying luxury for herself. She looked at a photo on her desk from Lucy's graduation. In the picture, Tom and Lucy were smiling brightly, their faces full of hope and happiness. Sarah had helped transform their lives, but they had transformed hers too. They had shown her that the best way to use money was to create opportunities for love, family, and dreams to flourish. The next week, Sarah started her new school year with a fresh group of 8-year-olds. As she looked around the classroom, she wondered which children might need a little extra help, which families might be struggling in silence. She had learned from Tom and Lucy that sometimes the most important help comes disguised as coincidence, contests, and kindness. The family she helped would never know that their luck was actually the gift of a secret millionaire who chose to change lives one child at a time. And Sarah wouldn't have it any other way. Her greatest treasure wasn't her inheritance. It was the trust of families like Tom and Lucy's, and the chance to help children believe in their dreams. In her desk drawer, Sarah kept a thank you card that Lucy had made for her years ago. It said, "Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself." But Sarah knew the truth was the opposite. Tom and Lucy had taught her to believe in the power of quiet generosity and the magic that happens when people help each other without expecting anything in return. The struggling single father and his daughter never did learn their teacher's secret. They just knew that sometimes, when life seems impossible, angels appear in the most ordinary places, like an elementary school classroom, wearing a simple dress and carrying a stack of papers to grade. And sometimes, those angels have $50 million and choose to spend it one lunch, one hug, one contest, and one changed life at a time.